Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. And finally, we've got the details on the large-scale game mode that we have been waiting on since EA Play 2018, and it is called Capital Supremacy. And yeah, so this was apparently something the community suggested, but it's not something I've seen too many people. It's usually been something with Galactic and so on. And now we got the full details on exactly how this game mode works, and like always with Battlefront 2, or most of the time, there are both good and bad news around this. But I will go through the full community transmission, give you the details on what's the good parts, what's the bad things, and what might the future behold, and so on. So let's just dive straight into it. Capital Supremacy General Overview. So, the goal for Capital Supremacy is to win the planetary battle, gain access to the opposing team's capital ship, and destroy it. When you first deploy into a game of Capital Supremacy, you will begin planetside. From here, you will have to take control over several command posts that are scattered around the planet. Which command post you go after is entirely up to you, so sounds like conquest, which is good. Choose carefully, because while you're off capturing a command post, the opposing team will also be doing the same. The choice between attack versus defend is one that you and your team are going to have to make. As you capture command posts, your team will gain reinforcements. Once you have the required number, your transport ships will arrive. When this happens, you will have a short amount of time to make your way to the transports. After boarding the transports, your team will begin the assault upon the opposing team's capital ship. From here, you will have to set multiple timed charges around the ship. Should you be successful in destroying the capital ship, the game will end and your team will be designated as the winners. If you do, however, make it onto the capital ship and fail to destroy it, the battle will return to the surface, where you will repeat the process and attempt to capture the command posts, and from here you will once again need to gain the necessary reinforcements needed to launch the assault onto the capital ship. The match ends when the capital ship has been destroyed. So, some interesting mechanics there, and my first impression is that it sounds like they have captured the essence of conquest on the ground. And the good thing here that I'm very happy to hear, and that I was a bit worried about, is that it's not a, you know, Scarif-ish or Galactic Assault-ish phase game mode. So it's not gonna be you do this phase, and then it's done. Well, unless you do succeed in the first try, of course. But it's actually gonna be back and forth, a bit like Supremacy was in the previous Battlefront game, and that's probably why they called it Capital Supremacy. So I like this fact that if you manage to defend up there, you actually get a chance to hit back. So it's not gonna be it's gonna be very different compared to Galactic Assault, and I think that's what we all hope for. So it sounds good in that way. And of course we've got this sexy shot of the BX droid with the ARC trooper. No, actually that's the Ariel in the background, my bad. But yeah, the BX droid looks pretty badass, that's for sure. And I think that's the interior of a ship, although it's quite blurred. But if you go into the actual specifics, we get some more details on how it's gonna work. In terms of play count, it will be a 20 versus 20 game mode like Galactic Assault. However, they're also adding 12 AI controlled units on each side, so that's gonna make it 32 versus 32 in total, which I think is quite interesting, as now we're getting up to battlefield levels of players, as it's definitely gonna make the game feel more filled out. I mean, obviously Galactic Assault is pretty crammed together, so having 32 is definitely gonna make it more filled, but it's hard to say without seeing how spread out the map is. I mean, they say further down here that it's gonna be 5 command posts, so that's the same as in most Battlefield maps, I think, and often how it was in the old Battlefront game. So 64 units on 5 command posts does sound like a pretty good balance to me. I just really hope that these AI will be better than the ones in arcade, because those are not very good, to be honest. But when you are playing on the capital ships, those AI will not be with you, so it will be a bit more Galactic Assault-ish on the capital ships, but then more large scale on the ground with the AI. And like I said earlier, they did mention here that we will be getting 5 command posts, all which start with a neutral state, so that's just like the good old OG Battlefront 2, very excited for that. And if you hold the majority of command posts, you will progress your team's ability to attack the enemy ship by earning tickets, simply put. And once you have enough tickets, the transport will arrive. And for every person that reaches that transport in time, that team will receive extra tickets for their attack upon the enemy capital ship. So if you just die on that phase, well, you'll still be able to spawn up there on the ship, but you will get less reinforcements. And the actual attack on the capital ship seems to have 2 sub-phases. The attacking team have to override one of the doors, and from there they will have to plant a device to to destroy the critical ship system. So while the defenders can interact to stop the timer from progressing, they are unable to reset it, so every second counts. Once the timer is complete and both power generators have been destroyed, the game is over. But the attacking team has a limited amount of tickets during the assault, so should the ticket count reach 0 before they destroy the critical system, the combat will return to the planetary surface. So I think this sounds pretty good. The thing is, it probably depends on what you like, and it's obviously really hard to say without playing, but as you probably know, personally, Death Star 2 is my favorite map, because I love the close quarters combat without any ships and vehicles, and that sounds like roughly what the interiors are gonna be, but it's probably gonna be very different compared to what's down there. So the question is one of those parts gonna feel a lot more fun and people are gonna want just one part? Like, do they just want the conquest part separated? Because it's hard to say here if 80% of the time is spent on the ground or if it's like 50-50. But again, that's something that's going to be a lot easier to judge once we actually play the game mode. And as for the capital ships, the Republic attack cruiser, also known as the Venator class Star Destroyer, we will be playing in some key areas such as the cargo bay and the reactor core. And for the Trade Federation, where you defend the separatist dreadnought, you will be playing in the droid deployment bay and cooling vent room, because yeah, I don't think you will be able to play on the entire ship. They're pretty big, to be honest. And lastly, for the Clone Wars era part, they say that this is a Clone Wars all-out experience, which means that all the heroes and reinforcements will be available from that era. So obviously the two new, the ARC Trooper and the BX series Commander Droid, but also the light side and dark side heroes, which is Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda, Chewie, and Grievous, Dooku, Maul, and Bossk. And then we get to the bad part, which is at launch, Capital Supremacy will be available on Geonosis. And the good part to that, I guess, is that they say that this is not the Geonosis that you know from Galactic Assault or Heroes vs. Villains. So our goal was to make an environment that was created specifically with the gameplay of Capital Supremacy in mind. So, first of all, that means that they've built a new map, so this is a new map, it's not the Geonosis we've already played. That's a good part, but the bad part is that although they don't straight out say it here, it is only one map at launch, which is not very nice, I would say, and they aren't saying anything about the future here. And I also gotta bring something up here. The reason to that is probably something that I tweeted about earlier, which has to do with fiscal years. Same thing happened in March last year. They cannot talk anything outside of the fiscal years. I could go into details there, but it's a law in the US. Any publicly traded company can't go talk anything outside of the fiscal year, and EA's fiscal year ends the last March and the new one starts in April. So that's why, as far as I understand, we have not gotten the roadmap, why they probably don't even mention if they're adding more maps. And this is something that Ben confirmed out on Reddit when someone asked, are you planning to expand to more maps and other eras over time? He said, I'll get this out of the way now, I can't comment on future content right now. In unrelated news, I did edit the community transmission before it went live this morning. Was another line in there, but that's totally unrelated, of course. So, I mean, I'm assuming that he's kind of hinting towards the fact that we will be getting more maps, but this whole fiscal year thing is causing trouble, and that's why he says I can't comment on future content. That rule is incredibly stupid. It does not fit a game company, but that's the US laws, unfortunately. And I can also mention here that Jay actually responded to my Twitter thread about this, semi-confirming that what I said was true. And as you can see, his cough hopefully clears up in April, meaning that, yeah, it is because of this stupid rule that they can't confirm maps, that they can't show the roadmap, and so on. I would have liked to get more than one map at launch, but now that's coupled with the fact that they straight out can't say we're getting more maps. So I think by basically April 1st, or at least very early in April, we will know how many more maps this will be arriving to. And the thing for me is, a game mode can survive on one map for a limited amount of time. I mean, look at Battle Royales. They play on the same map over and over and over, but it's not going to be able to survive for forever. Look at Extraction, for instance. So if it's 1 month, 2 months maybe, could probably work. But if you're talking, no, you're not getting it on any more maps, or you know you're getting it this summer, that will make this game mode die down. Because I just feel like if this is a really good game mode, it's still gonna be fine. I mean, we play the same 12 maps that we played for 14 months now, and I'm still enjoying them, especially some parts like Death Star, for instance. So I am worried, but I hope that by very early April they will actually have an answer so that we can calm our nerves, because I do know this will obviously rile up the community. We all hope to get maybe 4 maps, at least the prequel maps, for this game mode. But now we're only getting Geonosis, a new map, sure. But yeah, I think you guys get my point, right? So that's what I currently think. It's a shame that's what we gotta deal with, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. It's too early to say something. If the game mode is incredibly good, I don't think it's gonna be a problem surviving on one map for at least a month or 2. But that depends on how good the mode is, simply put. He did also confirm that yes, there will be vehicles. STAP is there, for example, same way they do on Galactic Assault. Kind of vague though. I mean, he doesn't say anything about something like ATTEs, AATs, starfighters. Please don't be starfighters, and things like that. And there might be more answers popping up, but these are the initial answers as of recording this video, like 20 minutes after the news dropped, basically. And just to quickly edit in here, while I'm actually editing this video, Ben responded to some more questions, so we will not be getting starfighters, thank God. I do not want to get strafe front over and over, especially on an open map like Geonosis. And secondly, he confirmed that there is a community update video coming, so not sure about a trailer, but at least a community update video. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for you now. Please let me know what you think about the stuff. The bad news, the good news. What do you think about the mode overall? I'm curious to hear. And if there's any more answers that pops up from the developers the coming days, I'll make a short little update video with any information we do get. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.